FTX, the world's third largest crypto exchange, went bankrupt overnight, from 32 billion to zero. This is one of the craziest stories you will ever hear. Sam Bankman-Fried is the founder and CEO of FTX. He also founded a hedge fund called Alameda Research. He got famous for being the guy that bought low-priced Bitcoin in the US and then flew to Korea and Japan to sell it at a higher price. A week ago, Alameda Research's financials were leaked. It showed a pretty scary relationship between Sam's two companies, and this is important for the story. So FTX has their own exchange token called FTT. FTT doesn't represent ownership in FTX. It just gave holders access to lower trading fees on the platform, kind of like loyalty program points. This is where the schemy stuff starts. It turns out that 6 billion of Alameda's 12 billion in assets were in this FTT token. And that alone isn't an issue, but if something were to happen to FTT, Alameda might not be able to sell all 6 billion and wouldn't be able to cover the debts they owe. It gets worse. It turns out Alameda was using that 6 billion of FTT as collateral to get loans from real customer deposits at FTX. So they were essentially putting up Chuck E. Cheese tokens as collateral to get real money to trade with. A super slippery slope if something went wrong. Enter CZ, the founder of the #1 crypto exchange in the world, Binance. CZ invested in FTX in the early days, but decided to sell his stake a while ago. As part of the buyout, CZ took $2 billion in the FTT token, so he owns a ton of it. A few days ago, CZ tweeted that Sam had been talking shit about him to regulators. In response, CZ told his 7 million Twitter followers that he planned to sell all of the FTT token that he had. Now, people knew this would crush the price, and so they started to panic sell their FTT token. The price of FTT spiraled. Alameda's 6 billion of FTT was quickly becoming worthless, and so they were going to go out of business. The problem is, if they went under, so did all that real money that they borrowed from FTX, which means FTX wouldn't have that real money to cover any customer withdrawals. So FTX paused withdrawals, and people panicked. Sam called CZ and begged him to acquire FTX to bail out their customers. Yesterday, they entered in a non-binding agreement for Binance to acquire FTX. #1 buying #3. But after looking at the financials, CZ backed out, and FTX just filed for bankruptcy. Anyone with money in FTX is never going to see that money again. Sam Bankman-Fried, who is worth nearly $15 billion on Monday, is now broke.